They always offended. It's all.
I'm all independent. I irritate those awfully wicked. Wait, pause for a minute. What's up, guys? It's been a very long time since I have been on any of my social media platforms for real. If you guys have been able to catch me on TikTok, that's been a fun thing. If you guys have been able to catch me on X, you've gotten to hear a lot of my thoughts, and I do write my thoughts out on my Facebook page. But what I haven't done for real, what I haven't done is sat down and done a real show. Ooh, you can show comments on the stage. What? Let's go. Okay. So, without further ado, right? The reason I'm doing this is because I want to bring Make America Think Again back. Except it's going to be different this time. I'm not MAGA. I don't even believe in political parties anymore. And I know it's probably going to rub people the wrong way. What do you mean you don't believe in political parties? I don't believe in the binary system. I really don't buy into a lot of the stuff that I used to buy into. You guys are more than welcome to ask questions if you have questions while I'm doing this. But Make America Think Again is about critical thought. And I think we should have critical thought towards both parties. Shouldn't just be one. We shouldn't just be picking sides, politically gang banging, set tripping, doing all that. We need to think critically as Americans because we're handing off this country to future generations. And the condition that we are handing off our country, the condition that we are handing it off in, the current condition that it's in, is bad. It is. Please drop where you're watching from, who you are. I do see 8 people are watching. I'm surprised I got this many people tuning in. I do see 8 people watching. We got 5 on my City Links page. Hello. We got 3 on Hot Mic. We need to get Facebook up and popping again. Eventually I'll add TikTok and all the other ones. But this country is in turmoil. And it's in turmoil because we've had 2 factions running into the ground. And we've had very little people actually thinking critically about what the government is doing. So whether you are Democrat or Republican, I don't even think that matters. And I'm going to play a few clips of your favorite, very prominent, right-leaning political commentators sharing the same perspectives as I do. Now, if you have been bouncing around and you've been able to catch me on TikTok, this is going to be nothing new to you. If you watched over time, what up, Jax? If you watched over time and you kind of tuned in when I was going live on Instagram a lot, this is nothing new to you. But if you've solely been a YouTube watcher, you are in for a treat, okay? I might even make you mad, but that's okay because it is okay to disagree. That's a t-shirt I'm going to be coming out with soon. It's okay to disagree. I don't think people know how to respectfully disagree anymore. And it's not even just the right, okay? It's not, just the left. It's not Democrats are psychotic and they're mean and they mute you. These are the things I hear on a regular basis. The left, the left, the left, the left. The right has been doing some very crazy things lately. Trump's administration really started off on a bad foot with me especially, when he decided to go after the First Amendment. Now, I don't care if it's about an immigrant. I don't care if it's about someone who's a green card holder. Bottom line, they have every right to criticize a foreign government. And if they wanted to criticize the American government, what's wrong with that? It is what it is. It's the First Amendment. So you guys are going to be in for it. I hope everybody enjoys the new content. I hope you enjoy the new subject matter. I hope people stick around, which I know they won't. I'm going to create some Make America Think Again merch. It's just a revamp. I wanted to come live and kind of, have a more intimate discussion with people. just in case people had questions. They want to know why I changed, what happened, what do I think now, where do I stand now. All of your questions, I can answer them. If you want to come up here, I will share the link with people if they want to come up here and ask some questions. But I'm going to answer the what, when, why, and how. So why I decided to leave MAGA. Because it no longer, it didn't feed me anymore. I felt like I was around people who just were psychopaths. Nobody was actively thinking. When you do say something that's a critical thought, you get attacked. I've been attacked left and right from people who identify as MAGA. Yeah, I'm letting people come up. And I just couldn't do it anymore. I didn't like how Trump handled COVID. I didn't like how Operation Warp Speed was handled. I didn't like his interview when he came out with Candace calling it the greatest thing since mankind, and it was saving lives, There just seemed to be a tunnel vision on what people thought. And a lot of the responses you would get is, well, he's not mandating it, Sunni. He's not the president. Joe Biden was the president, and the Democrats at the time were in control, and they were trying to forcefully inoculate all of us. Okay? They were, even down to your kids. So when I saw Trump not exactly pushing back against that, I had to walk away. Of course, January 6th was a major, major, major one for me. You guys know that. I did not appreciate the fact that he pardoned Kodak Black and just degenerate rappers. What the hell does that have to do with anything? They are in jail for a reason. There are people who were in jail for no reason, literally rotted away. Okay? I'm going to be extreme with my thoughts today. I didn't like how he handled that. Everybody knows where I stand at the LGBTQ. That was another reason. I was just like, yeah, no. You're really cozying up to these people. They formed a Rainbow Coalition, helping them push initiatives through legislation. Those are things that I'm just never going to support. You're not going to have my support with that. So, I personally feel like the Republican Party and the conservative movement has changed. I don't think I've changed. I think the movement has changed, and people don't think anymore. They don't. Critical thought is like an afterthought. You only demonstrate critical thought when it's against your opposition. But I found myself challenging the people who claim to be on the same side or claim to vote Republican. I found that I tend to relate, I have more fun challenging my own side than I do, I don't like talking to the left. I think that's boring. I think it's boring to sit online and just dunk on Democrats all day, talk about the same thing, defend Trump. I'm not here to defend Trump. That's not my job. It's not your job either. We're here to be Americans. We're here to take care of our families. We're here to vote, and vote for things that make sense. I don't think voting red no matter who is any different than voting blue no matter who. We have to pay attention to policy. We need to look at their voting records. We need to see what they support, what they don't support. If you want to know an example of a politician that I really like, it's going to be Thomas Massey. It's going to be Rand Paul and his father. Those are politicians that I really feel like are working for the American people. After, doing the show with Mo for damn near 3 years, that also just put a very bad taste in my mouth. I would say things and I would get hate for it, and then somebody else would say it, Candace, or a bigger name, and then people would just immediately, gravitate towards it, like shit on flies. It was just weird, and I found myself getting bitter. So, of course, coming back here, back to America. I am back in America for people who don't know. I got back in August. You have to take a break and take a step back with that too. So of course that also contributed to why I haven't been live. And it also gave me a lot of time to think on what type of content I want to produce. What's the subject matter? What angle do I want to come from? I want to bring people facts. I want to bring people critical thought. I'm not saying that I didn't bring that before, because I clearly did, but I was definitely, where's my hat? I was a magatard, y'all. Let me put this on real quick. I was a magatard, y'all. Look at that. Trump 2020. This is one of them OG hats. I even got the super old one in here. I don't know where that's at right now. Oh, it's over here. Did you look at this? OG Trump hats, right? So I'm just coming out and admitting it. I was a magatard. Of course I was thinking, but I wasn't thinking, in my personal opinion, I don't think I was being unbiased. I go back and look at some of my older content and I'm like, you said this? Oh my God, there's a footage of you on the internet just being completely irrational. I was on Facebook today and I saw some people that I used to go back and forth with on a regular basis from my hometown say, we've been voting Democrat for too long, and this is why the city looks the way it does. And I went, didn't I used to say that? Right? I'm like, and before I knew it, I typed, you guys know me, I'm like, hey, glad you finally came around. And he was like, I'm glad to see you finally came around, because you were very dedicated to the narrative that you were pushing. And it humbled me for a moment. I'm like, dang, I towed the line. You guys watch me these past couple of years, I towed the line. And then I couldn't do it anymore because it didn't authentically feel like me. It felt like I was putting on a caricature, and I wasn't coming and presenting myself. I was presenting, research that I had done, but that research was biased because it heavily favored Trump. I didn't give it a good look. I didn't consider what other people were providing to the conversation. I kind of just remained very stubborn. So today, this is gone. This is gone. I will always think of those moments of being MAGA in a very, favorable light. It was a fun time to be a part of this movement. It was a fun time to meet Officer Tatum, be able to go live with him, meet his wife, meet a bunch of different content creators, Right Wing Angel, Craig Long, respect to those guys. But I personally just will not be lending my name to MAGA because I don't like what it's turned into. It's turned into a cult where people cannot think for themselves, or you're labeled an undercover Democrat. And I'm saying this from experience. Debating people on this side, challenging people, asking them, about specific legislation. You guys know me. HR 6090. That was a big piece of legislation we talked about. HR 1007. That's another piece of legislation that I've been talking about on my TikTok when I go live there. The piece of legislation that was, they were supposed to vote on it, but turns out they didn't. I think it was HB 357 or something like that. There's a new House bill on the floor. I like to look at the bills, read it, come live and say, hey, this is what Republicans are offering. This is what Democrats are offering. Does it make sense to us? You'll also hear me, 867, thank you. You will also hear me, and I'm going to read your comments too. You're going to hear me heavily focus on the geopolitical realm. The days of me covering a lot of social issues, I just don't do that anymore. I don't think it's useful. I think it's a tool to keep everybody divided. If I do hold those type of lives, then you will hear me speak to it from a lens of race doesn't matter, and I think you should abandon it. And I think identity politics has been very much so rampant and present on the right and the left. It hasn't just been a left-leaning thing. So you guys are you're in for a treat, is what I will say. You're gonna get a completely different Sunni. Of course, I'm always gonna be me, but the way I think now is completely different. It's not like it was last year, 2 years ago. This is completely new. I'm revamping and Make America Think Again because I truly want people to think. Put aside your party bias, lay down your party alliances, and understand that we all experience this country together. All right? Democrat, Republican. If Biden failed, we all failed. If Trump fails, we all fail. If Congress doesn't rise to the occasion, we suffer. And when I say we, I'm speaking to Americans. We have to think of ourselves as Americans now. We can't think of ourselves as Democrats and Republicans because it doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense to do that either. I also came up with a new logo. This is going to be the logo from now on. I'm completely changing the page. I'm coming up with a new intro, a new feel. Everything's going to be new. And I'm hoping people stick around for the ride because I think you'll learn a lot. I think you will expand your mind a lot. I think you'll look at politics differently. You won't be as emotionally reactive, scared. A lot of people are terrified. They don't know what's going to happen in the future. It's like this. Politics is this. It is a forever, nonstop, roller coaster that just doesn't end. So the MAGA hats, they're no longer relevant. On this channel, I'm not going to say that I won't collaborate with people who claim to be MAGA, sure, but I hope that they're going to be ready for some pushback. I hope that they're ready for iron to sharpen iron, and I hope to see a lot of people expand their arguments. That's another reason I've really just had to step away from everybody, and it wasn't even personal. Like, I needed to get on my own around people who didn't know me and really challenge myself. I hate hearing the caliber of debates that come off of the right now. It's very much so, it's like juvenile. The arguments that people make, it's very juvenile, it's very surface level. So let's agitate some people, Let's create some critical thought. Let's have conversations. Let's push. We're not going to push too far, not to the point where people want to fight or you don't like me or you hate me. But I think it's time for us to start thinking again. People stop thinking and they've allowed politicians to do the thinking for them. You've put all of your hopes and dreams, your values, your trust in Trump. And Trump is a man. He's a man. He's not God. He's subject to flaw. He's subject to error. He's going to make mistakes. Yes, you want him to get in office and do the right thing, but understand that this dude is a man. And you constantly have to be in prayer for him as the leader as well as yourself. Pray for discernment. I don't think a lot of people have that. For the past 2.5 years, I've asked God for wisdom and discernment. And boy, have I been tested. When you ask the Lord for patience, discernment, and wisdom, just be prepared for what's going to smack you. Because it's coming, okay? You got the what, where, why, and how. This channel is going to be different. We're going to have fun. I do have some producers on deck. Very personal. I'm keeping my team small. I'm not going to expand it. I'm keeping the team small. And we're just going to drop banger after banger after banger. And it's going to be fun. Of course, I'm going to bring on some special guests, some new people that I've met along the way, and some old friends that I've had for quite some years. Hopefully, that's the sound of freedom, by the way. You can feel it in your chest. We're going to have fun, though. Let me read some of your comments, because I haven't been looking. You said, I'm not the same. You're the same to me. You be doing your usual. Yeah, but a lot of people haven't seen me on YouTube for quite some time. I've been home for almost a year. I went live on my YouTube during the election season, and then I stopped. That sounds like this. That is. It's the sound of freedom. Create some merch. I got you. It feels like Trump's been back in office for 2 years and it's only been 4 months. Girl, you're telling me. I'm right there with you. It's been total chaos. Let me see. What's your opinion on Marco Rubio now? I know you don't see too much. I'll see it too much for him. Marco Rubio is going to have the same opinion from me until he shows me different. Until I see different from Marco Rubio, he's still a neocon. And Trump's surrounded by neocons. That's something that we all need to come to terms with in this day and age. And I'm going to play this video from Tucker Carlson that I saw that I thought was really cool. And I wondered if how many other people shared the same sentiments. Because this is how I think. And a lot of people used to think this way, used to say this, speak this out loud, and I would be like, oh, you're just weak. You're frustrated. You're giving up. But at some point, you got to be realistic about, what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. April 2021, them C inoculations is when I realized MAGA was a cult. Yeah, MAGA, when you couldn't speak anymore or just give your perspective or your take on what Trump was doing, how he was handling, CVID, the shots, I knew it was a wrap. When I got attacked, when I went live with Lexit, I think I went live with A-Rod. And me and A-Rod were talking about the Candace Owens interview and how Trump has just really lost the plot. He brought up the Johnson & Johnson CEO and was just bragging about this jibby jab, right? And then you get documentary after documentary that comes out and you're like, you're seeing these like crazy blood clots coming out of people's lungs and shit. And then you have MAGA who just got frustrated if you questioned it. It was wild. It's wild. He said, let's not start on the log cabin Republicans. If I sound off, it's because I'm just getting over being sick. I'm sorry. I'm lucky I even have a voice today because earlier I was whispering. I can somewhat tolerate Mark Lee. Okay. Debbie does. She said, iron sharpens iron. That's right, girl. We should be able to push back against each other. No, Trump is not a conservative, so your stance makes sense. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do. I've checked out of a lot of politics. It was exhausting. I need to get back into it. When you do get back into it, make sure you pick and choose what's important to you. Don't follow what mainstream is propping up. And what I need you guys to know, and this includes me too, you guys successfully took down the mainstream media, but what you replaced mainstream media with is social media influencers. And a lot of social media influencers do not have your best interests at heart. A lot of people are in this for clout. I don't want clout. I don't care to have millions of views. It would be nice because that means the message is getting out. But if that never happens for me, totally fine with that. Totally fine. So make sure you really, really, really curate who you're taking your information from. Because I've seen a lot of people just flat out lie. Flat out just tell a whole bold-faced lie. I agree with you. It's ridiculous how these conservatives are literally behaving as liberals, as the liberals they complain about. Look, truth bomb. The First, Second, and Fourth Amendment needs to be protected now because it's under attack. I agree. Cash Kelly, I'm rooting for you. Thank you. Some of these, I'm sorry, I was yapping. Let me see. Just finished up dinner, watching from the beginning. Great to see you. Well, thank you for being here, Barbara. I hope you understand why I've decided to make this shift. I'm not against Trump. I want people to understand that. I'm not against Trump. This is not an anti-Trump. I'm not turning my YouTube or any of my content into anti-Trump content. But when Trump comes out and does something that I don't agree with, and that goes against the Constitution or any other founding documents, best believe I'm going to talk about it. So just be ready and don't get offended because I'm coming. I remember when Bryson Gray posted and said he wondered what MAGA and a lot of people on the right are going to do after 2029. That's a good question. What are people going to do after that? I don't think JD Vance is going to be MAGA. You know, if you've listened to his interviews and you've checked out what he's had to say on the back end, then you would know. I don't know, but we can hold out hope. There are some things that I do like about him, for sure. There's even more censorship. We can beat the censorship. That's another thing. Censorship only works if you allow it to work. There are too many ways to diversify yourself as a content creator. Discord is one of those places. If you haven't, I will drop the Discord so you guys can hop in it. This is my personal Discord. This is a Discord that I have created with people that I work with. It's not a Discord that I'm a part of with other people. And I'm also going to drop that in the chat. This link expires in 7 days. If you guys would like to join the Discord, that would be amazing. We hop in there. We have some really cool debates. And there's new people joining every day. There's literally everybody in there. Nobody's going to be outnumbered. There's everybody in there. There's Democrats in there. There are, I think we even have a socialist, communist. We have walks. Everybody's in there. It's been a good time. He even gave Fauci a medal. That's what really did it for me. Oh, man. He's got enemies in his camp still. That's another thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Trump's cabinet and the neocons. The neocons have been loud. They're showing their teeth. It's wild. Is Corey in there? No, Corey is banned. Corey will not be allowed in there unless he is good faith. If he can't be good faith, then that's just not something we're going to be doing. This is not a free-for-all. I don't want it to be a melee in there where people are just like fighting and carrying on. It's an actual debate server. Massey Paul 2028, let's make it happen. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be paying more attention to my local politics. You all know that I did move to the west coast of the country. That's been interesting. It's been a culture shock for certain. And of course, I'll do lives about that too. Oh, wow, I've been up here for almost 30 minutes. I'll do lives about that too, my experience, the culture shock, how different things are. This is also why I've changed my perspective. Coming back to America, if I'm being honest with you guys, coming back to America was like lifting a veil from my eyes. When you're gone, you know, you get to watch the news, you get to see it, but it's different when you're here to experience it. I experienced it to a certain extent, you know, with everybody having to wear a mask, the jibby jabs and all that, but it's different. I don't recognize this country. I don't. I've been gone for too long, y'all. I had a culture shock on Mother's Day. I was going to brunch, because this is what I do every Mother's Day. We go to brunch, sit down, relax, you know, eat, have really good food. And it's usually buffet style. When you go to brunch in Japan, it's like normal people. You, me, normal sized people, I should say. I went to the buffet here for Mother's Day, and when I tell you it was a bunch of rotund, round people, I was like, what the actual, what is this? There was so many big people in line. I saw people there with oxygen masks on. Oxygen masks. I'm like, you are knocking on death's door. And this is what you want to be doing with your time? Sitting here eating buffet? I wanted to leave. I'm not even lying. I was like, I want to leave. Maybe this is just not the spot for me. Because if y'all are here, and I'm sure this is not the only time you come here, if y'all come here this often and you're this big, maybe I need to reconsider what I'm doing. It was a culture shock. Scared the crap out of me. Seeing homeless people everywhere, I'm just not used to that. I don't like going out and about in the city. I would much rather prefer to be at home, and that's just not me. You know, I like being out. I like, let's go to the pool, let's go to the beach, let's go have a barbecue, let's go do this. I don't even want to do that. I'm cool chilling in the crib. People are rude in traffic. I was like, damn, it's so bad that I want to go back home, y'all. Japan is home for me now. And once our couple years here is up, I got to go home because I couldn't do it. Come back to NC. There's my mother-in-law. I love you. I actually would love to come back to NC as long as I could live deep, you know, in the cut. I don't want to be around people. So this is the new improved Make America Think Again, you guys. It's going to be a very organized, goal-driven show. I'm only here to make you think. And I'm hoping that I produce critical thought in people during this administration, because although Trump has done some great things, his administration is also partaking in some very unconstitutional things. And we have to be honest about that. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I don't agree with you here. And I'm going to make my voice loud about that. The pieces of legislation that are coming out that you should still be paying attention to, HR 6090, please look into that. Okay, HR 1007, please look into that. There is another bill. Hold on, let me go pull it up on the side. And I'm going to play a video before I get out of here. But there's another bill, a House bill, that a lot of people are kind of upset about, because I guess social media is going to now be able to have your ID, your kid's ID, which we're going to get into that, because what are you mad about? They already look at your ID. They already know your birthday, your address. The internet has that. When you log on to Amazon, Netflix, or whatever, they have access to your bank accounts, your debit cards, all that. But it was just an interesting thing. But what I want to play for you is Tucker Carlson. I've been watching my boy take heat. Tuckerson has been taking so much heat from the right due to him like remaining consistent and calling a spade a spade. And when I heard him speak, I was like, you know what? This is the moment where I just need to not be afraid anymore, because I'll be honest with you guys, I've been really scared to come back. I've been really afraid to come back because I know that my not even my new ideas, I've thought this way, but I know the way I think now really agitates Republicans, and it really agitates conservatives. I'm not pro-Israel. I'm also not pro-Palestine. I am pro-America, and you all should be pro-America as well. So I'm going to play this clip, and I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't go back to Japan. I need you to stay here. We'll be here. I'm not going to be able to escape that easy. But check this out.
I feel like an idiot for being shocked because, of course, it's not a democracy. Of course, the system is rigged. It's fake, because no matter who gets elected, you get the same foreign policy, you get the same economic policy, and the Epstein videos remain secret. So like that just shows you that our system has no effect on the actual system.
Wait, what are you talking about? I thought we could all sleep well at night now knowing that Epstein legitimately killed himself, right?
What was that?
Did that just come out?
It's just two guys that I really like. I mean, I love Bongino, but he's a friend of mine. But you weren't convinced by that?
No.
Why?
I mean, just I've dug into that, and it's just so spooky what's going on with that, and how nobody. I mean, how do you charge a guy with sex trafficking when there's no end users that have been charged? Who did he traffic to?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know. You got me on that one.
I mean, right? How do you charge him with that if there's no? I mean, if that's where the trail starts, where does it end? We haven't. So, I think there's just a lot more going on than the majority of people know about.
What do you think that was?
What do I think it was?
Yeah,
I think it was a blackmail operation. What do you think it was?
I think it was a blackmail operation run by the CIA and the Israeli intel services. And probably others. French intelligence always.
I can't play anymore or else I'm going to get taken down. But understand, this is my mindset, okay? I'm looking at every single angle. Foreign aid needs to stop. Congress has circumvented, I need you to understand this. Congress has circumvented congressional review on several pieces of U.S. aid that's left this country, which is your tax dollars. If you don't believe me, all you have to do is go to congress.gov, okay, and look up the press releases. They got around congressional review, not once, not twice, not three, but 4 times, and it's probably even more, because I got so frustrated with what was going on, I had to stop watching. That is how angry I got watching what this administration was doing. And you should be pissed off because this is not what we voted for. All right? When you are going around congressional review, sending money out of this country, we need to look at you the same way we looked at Biden when he was sending all that money to Ukraine. You got to wonder. You also need to wonder, where is the legislation? You control both chambers, buddy. Why can't we get anything passed? Why are we making Thomas Massie the enemy here? He's the only one not funded by AIPAC. I'm just saying. You have to think of all these things. Why is it that this administration is spending so much time trying to combat anti-Semitism when we can't even get rid of racism? If black folks got to get over slavery, which I'm right here with you, I'm going to need y'all to stop bringing up the Holocaust anytime any of us bring up a valid criticism of what's going on over there in that country. We need to. It's normal to question these things. What's not normal is censoring speech. What's not normal is trying to deport people for op-ed pieces. That was a young lady. What's not normal is not having a shred of evidence to deport Mahmoud Khalil. And if you've never looked into these things, I'll do shows on it. I promise you I will. Or you can go look at my TikTok and my Instagram to go see 60-second reels on the government openly admitting they had no evidence against him. 0. Now all of a sudden we trust Marco Rubio? Wait a minute. How about when Trump says, you know what, instead of keeping this like militaristic approach going, let's try this. Let's try a diplomatic solution. And the diplomatic solution is, we fought long enough. What can we do for each other? Syria, we're going to give you an opportunity to actually turn into a flourishing country, because just maybe, that's what they're looking for. Maybe, just maybe, if we tried a different approach to how we handle geopolitics, we might see a difference in that region over there. It's remained unstable since the 80s. We'll get into all that too. But these are questions that I've asked myself. These are questions that I've researched extensively. I've done extensive research on these things. I'll be sharing my research with you. We'll be tackling different topics. But you got to watch guys like Tucker Carlson. Follow Anomaly. Anomaly is amazing. I'm also going to play a video from him because he made this cold point. I hadn't even thought of this point that he made. Excuse me. But it was cold. I was like, dang, you make a really good point. Let me pull that up real quick before I go. Follow Anomaly. Follow Bryson Gray. Follow Sunni Blanks. Liddell Bugs. He does amazing breakdowns of the economy. What's your counter move? What's going on with the stock market? Amazing content creators. But you got to support them because we're out here struggling. We struggling, y'all. We're trying to combat mainstream as well as mainstream, content creators. And, excuse me, like I said, I'm getting over being sick. And we just got to do better. Identify as American. Let's try that. Let's see. Your generation is really going to be the people to really push the anti-Israel movement. About 10 minutes ago, you were talking about not liking some things Trump did and is doing. I do not like how he renamed the Gulf. I mean, MAGA were all up in arms about renaming bases. Ooh. Or at least just rename it the Gulf. I mean, a lot of people call it the Gulf. See, that's a good point you made. They were up in arms about renaming different things. Super interesting. Hold up. Oops, I opened it on the wrong tab. On the wrong tab. I'm going to play this last video and I'm going to dip out. I want to give you guys things to think about. Yo, this is crazy. I can't play this video. I don't want to get taken down. But I am going to do a reaction to it. Follow Huey Media as well. Huey Media puts out a lot of very, very objective, unbiased perspectives on, what's happening globally. But here we go.
Most people have probably seen Kash Patel and Dan Bongino saying that Epstein for sure killed himself. But this clip kind of went unnoticed of Bongino saying that there was really nothing else to tell the public about the 2 Trump assassination attempts.
You know what, Maria? Kash is not kidding. We've been personally briefed extensively on every single detail, nugget, tendril of this case. I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. And whether you like it or not is up to you. If there was a big explosive there, right? Given my history as a Secret Service agent and my personal friendship as a director does with the president, give me one logical, sensible reason we would not have. If you can think of one, there isn't. There in some of these cases, the there you're looking for is not there. And I know people, I get it.
First of all, when he says we were briefed, etc., they're probably telling these guys what they want to tell these guys, and it's completely reliant on who's documenting the event. With that being said, the first shooter was obviously bizarre. They said it was a lone wolf on a roof, at bare minimum Secret Service incompetence. But the second one was perhaps even weirder, because the guy had multiple interviews, was from America, went to Ukraine to recruit former Taliban members, and then after the attempt, the mainstream media, deep state, and even Donald Trump himself started saying Iran sent the guy, which really doesn't make much sense at all, but who knows? I guess there's really nothing left to say about it though, right? Case closed. Let me know what you guys think. God bless you. And do you think there's going to be any sort of meaningful reform inside our government? Appreciate your time. So at this...
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Why do you just before I go? Why are they shutting down every quote unquote conspiracy theory that has ties to Israel? And I'm not just saying this because I'm being conspiratorial. If you read the JFK files, Israel was named several times. Mossad wasn't
Right.
Multiple people have alluded to the Mossad and Epstein having something to do with each other. They have.
And do they not look?
All of a sudden, we're not going to talk about the true intent and where both assassination attempts came from, because there's just nothing there.
Yeah. And like I say, and then you ain't see how they looked at concerned and scared that whole interview, just looking around.
Yeah, Dan Bongino let me down.
You ain't peep how they was looking.
Let down. Dan Bongino, he said Epstein for certain unalived himself. I'm like, so the footage, the CCTV footage that disappeared, that's just that's a coincidence. We don't need to think about that at all.
And you know what's really what I'm not surprised about is that a lot of people, like as far as the Hodge twins and stuff, is saying really he killed himself. Come on now.
He didn't.
Of course we know he didn't.
We know.
But they not sleek. And yeah, they looked scared throughout that whole interview. When I watched the majority of it, I'm like, what is going on with them? They eyes big, they stuttering, they jumping from one sentence to the next. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, man, it's been an interesting ride. So what I will say, you guys stick around. I'm gonna let Marlandon say what he needs to say, but this is the new improved platform. A lot of things are changing. I'm changing the color schemes, everything. I am dropping merch. We're going to revamp with the merch. You guys will be able to purchase the signature Make America Think Again shirts. And then I'm coming out with another shirt that says, it's okay to disagree. It's okay for us to disagree. In fact, you really come to the truth when people start to disagree and begin to share thoughts. Like the art of conversation is just dead. But go ahead, Orlando.
The more you look into the country that we can't talk about, is the more you will realize that that country is the root of almost all of our problems. It's the truth. It is. It's the root of all our problems.
Yeah,
And
we're
like I
gonna dig
say,
into 9/11 too. For
and I
so,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
And I feel like around with your age group and some of mine, some they with the anti-Israel movement, it's gonna grow fast, and people gonna start to realize that this country is full of crap.
Yeah, that's another thing. Uh, I'm going to dig into so that people can understand my anti-Israel approach because it's I'm not an anti-Semitic. Please stop saying that. I've been called an anti-Semite for a good year. It's almost as bad as being called a coon. Like, dang,
Mm.
every time. So I'm gonna dig into all that. You guys will see the episodes posted before they happen. I'll get them out a few days earlier.
And
So stick around. Make sure if you tuned in today and you're watching from Facebook, you're watching from
and
YouTube, we're streaming on X, Instagram, TikTok. Please make sure you guys
and
enable post notifications because if you don't, you will not see I'm live. Also, if you go to the Discord, you will probably get a double notification of anything I post, anytime I drop some new merch, or anytime we're going to do a live. You will see that. It'll give you notifications of debates that we're having in the server. What else? I think that's it for now. Yeah.
and I also feel like with Trump and a lot of people in our government, they know that country ain't no good, but they try not to rock that boat apparently when it needs to be rocked, sunk, and shipped out. It
Dang.
needs to.
Sunk. You're trying to go all the way with it, huh?
Cause you gotta think how long we been for one catering to this country. We basically have turned into that country 2.0, and and don't nobody seem to a majority don't seem to care.
Yeah. It's an interesting time that we're in. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. I really appreciate you sharing this almost hour with me. Time is precious. You can't get it back. I hope to see you guys in further lives where I discuss. I only muted you because you got a background. Further lives where we discuss more in detail. We're going to go into 9/11. I'm going to go into Operation Clean Break. I'll do the first episode to really explain where I am with the whole Israel Gaza thing because that's a sticking point for a lot of Republicans and conservatives. When they hear you say that, they turn off because they think that you're hateful or you're somehow supporting Hamas. I don't support Hamas. I don't support the Palestinians. I'm
And I'm sick,
pro-life.
and I'm sick of the word Hamas. Like I'm so sorry, but I am. I'm tired of it. Just like I'm tired
Hamas
of
is the
anti
new ISIS. It's the new Al
the same
Qaeda.
the same way I'm tired of anti-Semitic and anti-Semitism. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. But I gotta
Oh,
pop out of here, y'all. I can't wait to see more of you. Be on the lookout for the lives. They're gonna be dope. And let's make America think again together.
yeah,
I
and
can't
when
do
you
it
do
by
that,
myself.
lie with the 9/11 and clean break and then Yahoo talking in front of Congress, I got to be here. I got to.
I got you. I'll put out a big notification. I'm probably gonna do a lot of promo around that show, so it'll
Yeah,
be
I got
fun.
to be here. Okay.
I got you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. I love you all. I'm glad some of you are still here. I hope you stick around, and I hope maybe I'm able to convince a lot of you to abandon the party groupthink because it's just not. It's not something that is useful. What the? How did you get here?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh my
Doing
lord.
great.
All right, I'm gonna get off.
Yeah.
How are you
I'm.
doing? Long time no see.
Yeah. Long time no see. I'm
I
not
hope
sure
you've
I know
been
you,
doing
but
well.
good.
Oh,
Doing
I
great.
mean, I think given your guest's reaction, maybe you might remember me. I think maybe I might have been a controversial guest,
Controversial.
let's
Okay.
say.
Maybe.
But
Maybe.
yeah, it's been a long time. How you been? I hope you've been doing well.
Great. You have to tune into some more lives. I'm actually about to hop off. But we will be doing
Wonderful.
this once a week. I'll be putting out my schedule, and we'll have some decent episodes. So
That's wonderful. I noticed, right? You have your background, Make America Think Again. Look, this is like my trademark thing right here. I don't know if you're familiar with Andrew Yang's campaign when he ran, I believe, 2020. His slogan was math, and this is Make America Think Harder.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, after they start thinking again, then they can think harder. Because right now they're not thinking. We need to get them to think. There's a lot of people that are in autopilot, whether you're a
100%.
Democrat or Republican. You guys are in autopilot. And I hope to be that alarm clock that agitates you every morning. And you're like, You know, you slap it, you're like, oh my God, shut up. Except for you can't slap me.
I mean, it seems, honestly, it seems like that might be a solution, but I don't think it's like hearts and minds, right? Unfortunately.
That's all it is.
No, it's like when you're the antagonist, it's a bit of a challenge. That's what Trump is, right? Trump, whatever, he's been an antagonist, and people
Maybe.
see that before any other
Might be that
messages.
way.
But yeah, unfortunately, I think right, diplomacy and all that.
Okay. Well, I hope to see you around then.
I hope you have a good one. I hope you have a wonderful. Until I see you again. Take care.
Thank you so much. Dang, that's kind of messed up. I miss Mo. Why don't you miss her? What'd she do? I mean, it's your opinion. I guess I gotta give it to you. I've been around. I've been around. I'm here. We're gonna get into some topics. I see everybody's starting to tune in now. You guys go back and watch this to hear the beginning of why I left MAGA, why I can't do the binary party system anymore, and why it's more beneficial to us as Americans to really, really pay attention to who we're voting for. Pay attention to policy. Pay attention to who they select as their cabinet members. And don't allow yourself to be easily manipulated. All right? Think. Don't believe what I said here today. Go out and do your own research. Challenge yourself. And we out.